He commands even the unclean spirits, and they obey him. His fame spread everywhere throughout the whole region of Galilee.
Thanks, Jello. Oh, there's an echo, no, when you read. Sounds very holy. So there's
Yes,
a
I think audio.
yeah, we can hear that. It's okay. No, no problem. No problem. So, anyways, some things I want to highlight in this passage, the points that was brought out in the homily today, no? Just for a spiritual orientation to analyze these models. The observations in this episode of this Gospel of Mark, there was a presence of evil in the religious assembly. So if you think of this as ecclesiological models, there can be evil. Can you imagine? There was evil in the synagogue. It's a holy place. It's an assembly of holy people and doing holy things, and yet evil was there. The presence of evil in the person in the assembly. My goodness, even the person, the guy was going to the synagogue and he was possessed. So there's something for us to think about in all our models. What do we provoke in people? Meaning, the person could be physically in church, but is that person really living a Christian life? No, is our pastoral action actually doing something just by leading the person to do religious activities? Third, the capacity to articulate the identity of God. No, it was mentioned today. The one who really knew how to pronounce who God was theologically and dogmatically correctly was the demon. so, so somebody who can even tell you exactly and correctly the catechism intellectually may still be possessed and not in the right path. And fourth, the immediate external obedience to God's word. The devil actually obeyed the word of God immediately, although with loud cries and convulsions. No, there was resistance, there was shouting, uh, but he obeyed immediately. Is when somebody is so obedient immediately to the laws of the church, is that person really evangelized? That's a good question also to ask. And when he was proclaiming who he was, Jesus silenced him. Jesus silenced his proclamation. No, instead of asking him promote, no, promote Jesus, preach. He told him not to preach. Okay, just some some elements here that are some quite interesting for us to ponder about and to question a bit. No, in all these four models, we can use this to analyze them. Are these ways of bringing people together really effective? If the person in this are there manifestations of not maybe not evil, no, in that sense, but non-evangelical manifestations in these models. So the one that is the easiest to criticize in these questions, of course, is the traditional model. No, they're coming to church, their body is there, but their heart is not there, and the devil is happy. The devil is happy for people physically to be in church and to be an anti-testimony because their hearts are not there and they're not transformed. And people will get scandalized with the church because of its anti-testimony. It's good for the devil. No, so we can say, this is the traditional model. Ooh, but it can also happen for the communitarian model. Uh, evangelization, preach Jesus, and etc. No, and then Jesus says, don't preach if you you are you're not really believe you don't really believe, you're not really living out, and he was silenced by Jesus. So if you go through all these different questions carefully in all the models, it could be very interesting to see how these models really function, or maybe need improvement, or they need to be clarified whether they're really effective, or are they harboring the presence of the demons, but looking very holy, in them. to articulate, to teach people how to speak of their faith. That was the catechetical model. But are they really following Christ? The ones who are immediately obedient. This could be very traditionalist even, no, if you think about it. Very obedient to all the laws of the church, the sacraments, the rites, the rituals. Um, but inside, are they really enjoying the Christian life? Or are they crying a lot? Do they complain in other contexts? So you should go to church. You should do this. You should, but they in their own daily lives. There are many things to examine, and it was very beautiful the reflection that was given today. That can re-examine our practices, no, of Christian life and the pastoral action. That what kind of faith do we provoke in people? The devil had faith. The devil had faith in that sense. But the ones who really had faith were the ones who were lost, the ones who didn't know how to even identify that it was Jesus who was Son of God, the ones who were imperfect and were in touch with their human condition. And I think this is something that our own time needs. What is a faith that is in touch with our human condition and is not afraid to persevere in being disciples of Jesus in the midst of their human condition? And those were the real disciples of Jesus in the Gospel of Mark. No, the ones who are imperfect, don't understand. Jesus got upset with them. Until now, you don't understand. It's like he got angry with them. These were the real disciples. And what kind of model of pastoral do we have that really accompanies people in their humanity and not just spiritualizing everything? Um, of course, we present the ideal, we present the spiritual means, we present what will help them to walk forward, but always accompanying them where they are. You know, that's why Pope Francis, in his model of church, is fellow pilgrim. We are walking with you where you are. We are just like you, but the difference is we have Christ. But we will walk with you in our humanity and in your humanity together with Christ. No? So you can try to do this analysis in the four models. And now just to explain the concrete requirements. Are you ready? Pens ready? For the written assignment, just 3 to 5, please, no more. No more than that. Even if you feel very inspired. 3 to 5 pages to a comparison. Oops. Hold on. A comparison and critique of the four models of pastoral action. Okay? Put the four models together and compare them and do a critique of the four. All four, okay? But only in 3 areas. Only in 3 areas. Just now we saw all the four models, but in so many areas, okay? There were 4 categories, but within each category, there was a different area. So my questions, the in red, somehow help to identify some areas. So when I say areas, I don't mean those 4 categories, no ecclesiology or like that. So you don't have to do a very comprehensive or so many things there. Just choose 4 areas, very specific areas, and compare the 4 models. Okay? Is that okay? Yes? Or you're still looking at the questions? Okay, I'll just go through all the questions. So,
Mike, can you repeat the areas? What does it mean? Does it mean the pastoral approach, the
Yeah, can you give an
ecclesiological
example
ideas,
of what is
or
an
the
okay.
area?
Okay, I let me go back in some slides, then I will. Oops, here. Okay, so this is the summary, right? So the wait, just make it smaller. So can you see the? It's too small. Okay, so when I say 4 models means all the 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. I want you to compare all the 4 models, but in 3 areas. These are not the areas. These are very broad categories. Okay, historical situation. These are very broad categories. Within the categories, these are the areas. So, for example, one area is about the religious socialization. That's an area of interest or an area or massification. So this is the same. Uh, okay, maybe I'll try to make it more. I don't know whether you get my point because if you touch the historical situation as one area, it's such a big category. No, so which part of it are you going to compare for the four? So what I would like you to do is when you look at the four, identify something that is in common in the four areas. I mean, in the four models, and just talk about the that part of it. Okay,
In
am I
any
making
any
sense?
category we can choose.
Any,
Mike,
any,
in any category we can choose the areas we like.
any. It could be in the historical, it could be in the institutional, in the ecclesiological, it could be the, whatever. Just choose three.
Three.
I cannot
So
see what
from
you're
the four,
pointing at. So
no. So from the okay, for example, I go into traditional model, and from these four areas, I pick out three that I find in common with the other models.
yes,
是吗?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So then just do that.
So wait.
Yeah, go.
So to clarify, you are saying, for example, if I pick the area of religious socialization, and then I
Mhm.
have to critique all the models under religious socialization.
So meaning the category somehow is in, yeah, but so then how do you compare the other models in terms of religious socialite? Does it answer the problem? Does it expand the problem? What area of the problem does it address in religious socialization, for example? In the communitarian model, it addresses this problem because it creates smaller communities and therefore uh, it it improves it. No, but at the same time, it draws the church into small groups that can be very exclusive, and then they don't interact with each other. They despise the parishes, and they don't join the they don't consider themselves part of it. Okay. Then in the evangelical model, how does it respond to that? It's good because it evangelizes the people who don't understand with the massification, right? So this evangelizing movements of this model will help to evangelize them, etc. No, in an efficient way, and etc. Are they negative there? Then you tell me. No? Then in the liberating model, how does it address that issue of massification, for example? No, how does it or how does it go against that? So, for example, it was a real problem in Latin America. Massification, liberation model created a lot of violence between huge groups. Um, but at the same time, it was really attempting to free people, no, to free them from the because these big groups were really oppressed and needed emancipation. So some you get what I mean. So something like that, no, and repeat that in two other areas. That can be in any other part. Could be in the ecclesiological, if you are more attracted to that. It could be in the pastoral objectives, no, in a more what is the intentions there you want to analyze, or in the pastoral action itself, no, you want to analyze the action itself. So somehow they are all interrelated, but that is where I want to see how you reflect on it. Okay, in three concrete things mentioned there, how will you compare the four models based on the things that are said there that you can interrelate if you want? Okay, why I say three? Because it's 3 to 5 pages. Okay, so don't enter in too many. And if you start in one place, just continue there. Just continue reflecting. If it expands into the other areas, don't worry. It's okay. Just expand on it. One page already, start. Try to stop already. Look for another area, identify it, and then write. More than one page, stop. look for another area. Okay, so something like that, so that you can spread out your reflection and not just focus on one point in that. Okay, but the point is to compare the four. Okay, to compare the four. Okay, is it clear? It's important. And then there's a second question there, not yet finished. No, this is the Gospel of Mark. Okay, here. Second question, in each of these three areas that you are going to do, show how the verbal day apostolic method either identifies or challenges the four models of pastoral action. Okay. In these three areas, so meaning do the reflection for the areas first, then leave some space to talk about verbum dei. Okay, verbum dei, does it identify with this reflection that you have done or not? Or does it challenge it? Which model does it identify with? Which model does it challenge? Okay, more or less like that. So just because this will help us to see where we are, where we are, which model we feel closer to, in what area we're closer to this model, and in what area maybe we are closer to another model, and how can we improve that model, or maybe we're already trying to improve that model. Okay, but that model can give us a platform to boost ourselves more somehow. Make sense? Yeah, so reflection, this area is so like that, so good, so lousy, so good, so lousy, so this model is better, the other pump. Verbum Dei. Verbum Dei is also so good, and so good, and never lousy, and then and sometimes lousy in this one. What can we do? Something like that, no? And how can we use these models? Great. Okay, and then the last one is the oral discussion, 15 minutes. Once you have finished your work, you can send it to me by DHL or whatever, and then we can set a time to do the oral exam. Okay, one-on-one, individual. Maximum 15 minutes. Okay, don't worry. If it's very clear, maybe 3 minutes. If it's not so clear, we will use all the 15 minutes to do the oral. Okay. So, but it's just to clarify certain points of what you write. Okay, basically. So I don't think we'll have a long discussion, but if you want to, we can extend the discussion, no? Just for discussion's sake. So that's the written assignment, and the assessment will be based on the clarity of your contents and the depth of your analysis. Basically, that's it. Doesn't matter 3 pages or 5 pages. No, it's how clear are you in expressing this comparison, and how deep is your analysis with verbum dei also. Okay. So I don't know at the end whether you have grades, but at least at least that's how you know this assessment will take form. No, you know that in verbum dei we don't really have graduation, no grade at the end of the degree and all that. So, but the point is whether you learn. No? But yeah, there'll be a grade somehow, a grading or assessment. So we will discuss the assessment on the oral exam.
Only pass. The grade is only pass.
No, normally, yeah, at the end of the 4 years of theology is either whether you pass and you can do your perpetual vows or not.
So you pass and you will only pass us lang. There's no other grade for you to give us.
For me, I think there should be lah. But I'm not supposed to show the grade to you. I will ask. Okay, this is their style, so that this low HS style.
Oh,
But anyway, in the assessment, you will know whether you did well or not. So.
you cannot fail us.
No,
No,
I will let you know
Michael.
whether you pass or fail.
Michael.
Okay.